Listen, a lot of people have been facing challenges, and I've seen people within my own individual group, and the challenge has been they're feeling purposeless, don't know, what to do with their life, feeling stuck, and they're trying to figure out a way around that. I did a talk recently on YouTube, and it was the Zig Ziglar, what I'm presenting right now and at the moment. And the goal was basically how to get from where you're at currently to where it is you want to be. I'm going to be offering a free mini course if I see that there's an interest in helping individuals take what it is that they know and create it into their lifestyle message. But I want to talk about this here because, especially in the community law of assumption, law of attraction community, many of us have the mindset of, just receiving, and there's nothing wrong with receiving, but we're missing a very important element in receiving. And once we understand this element in receiving, then we can start experiencing the life that we want. And a lot of times, myself included, when I'm not in a place of serving, as it were, if I'm not pouring into other people, and again, you need to take downtime for yourself, but when I'm not serving, then I'm not really feeling like I'm living my life of purpose. And the funny thing is, behind service is where we're going to find purpose in our lives. Many of us are moving on the latter half of our lives, and we're looking at our life and saying, is this it? And what are we going to leave behind? The vehicle of service will allow us to answer this. I want to talk about this, and we'll come from what it is that Zig Ziglar talks about on how to get what you want. Zig Ziglar says, listen, you can have everything in life you want if you just help other people get what they want. Now, when we look at that on the surface, it seems like, well, that's, not what I want to do. But anyone that you see that's successful at any measure, what they found was a need in their immediate community, in the world at large, and they filled that need. A lot of times we think that what we're looking for is something to simply, make us happy. But a lot of times happiness comes from happiness. So your happenings, as it were, creates your happiness. What is it that you're doing? And a lot of us, we're going back and forth to work. We're living this day in and day out. We're kind of living Bill Murray's Groundhog Day, and we're seemingly on this perpetual cycle, this hamster wheel, and it doesn't seem to be changing. What I'm going to challenge you to do is to inventory your life and look at some of those things that you've learned from, some of the things that you've benefited from in your own knowledge. The challenge with many of us, we're too close to us. So we can't always see what it is that we have to offer. And so sometimes we may need to speak with loved ones or friends, or people within our community and say, what is it that you see me doing good at? Whatever that is, whatever you discover that to be, begin to find pain points around that topic. Now, what do I mean by that? You begin looking for what other people are looking for in solving a solution around that problem. About 100 years plus, there was a man by the name of Rockefeller, John D. Rockefeller. And it was a oil boom at this time. And many of the men were going out and they were drilling oil wells, and they called them, wildcatters, whatever. And these guys would be on the rigs. So John didn't want to do that. So he started looking at the market and saying, okay, what is it that people are going to need? And I can be the middle person between the oil companies, as it were, and the common man. And he came up with the solution of, he didn't come up with the solution of refining, but he realized that there was going to be a need for refiners. So that's what he focused his attention and his resources in. 1980, mid 80s, whatever, there's a man that comes and he decides that he wants to get into the software aspect of the computers. Everybody thought the money was in the hardware. Bill Gates knew that there was going to be infinite amount of revenue in software. And so he purchased this system called the DOS system for probably about $25,000 from an individual. So of course the individual thought, man, I got to steal. Anyway, IBM needed a software application to run many of their programs, and Bill Gates presented them with Microsoft, or DOS at that time, later to call it Microsoft DOS. That turned, now of course, now what he wanted to do, he wanted to sell the application to IBM, but IBM didn't see the profit, didn't see the benefit in owning the software. So they said, we'll just lease it from you. And so they did so. It made Bill Gates at that time one of the wealthiest men. Oh, it took some time for this to happen, but it turned Bill Gates into one of the wealthiest men in the world. Why am I saying this? You have something that you've discovered through your life that's a pain point that you've used as a solution in your life, and it's a pain point for many people. Now, because we use the solution day in and day out, we say, well, nobody's going to need that, or it's not valuable, whatever. But if you look throughout the marketplace, you're finding that, and even if you have a very, very small niche in the marketplace, that small niche can benefit you so greatly that you never have to work traditionally another day in your life. So you take that very small niche. One person was posting in my Facebook group how she had discovered in 2001 the path to her personal enlightenment. So what you do is you create a course around what it is that you've discovered. And there's a whole bunch of people trying to discover personal enlightenment. And so once you begin packaging that course, of course you create something that's, tangible, something free. And then from that free course, you can offer them a deeper dive into what it is that you've created. Another gentleman, a couple of years back, he's been a member of the group for a couple of years, but he was making a transition, and the only thing he knew at that time was lawn care. He had 20, 25 years into lawn care. And he says, nobody's going to pay me for lawn care. He was seeing the picture too small. There's people on YouTube and various channels, and the only thing they do is teach people how to care for their lawn, and they've created for themselves a multi-million-dollar business. There's other people that have discovered, dishes that they love to cook, and they've put it into a package, helping people to create, let's say, 30-minute meals or 15-minute meals for people on the go. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you've learned shortcuts for. Organizing, people are making multiple millions of dollars teaching people how to organize their lives. Creators. Zig said it the right way. He said, listen, you can have everything in life you want if you just help other people get what they want. It may be 15-minute meals. It may be organizing. It may be spirituality. Whatever it is that you do on an everyday, there's somebody, listen, there's a community built around that. Childcare. There's one young lady, only thing she does is talk about peaceful parenting. And so her whole community, and she has quite a few followers. And so now she's benefiting parents that want to move away from the screaming, the yelling, the harsh discipline of parenting. And many parents are transforming their relationships with their children because of this individual. What is it that you have to offer the world, creators? What is it that you do on a daily that, listen, something as simple as fish lures, teaching people how to catch fish can be beneficial. You have to discover your own unique voice, put your own unique twist on whatever that thing is, and begin to create a community around what it is that you know. And listen, I almost guarantee you, no matter what it is that you can come up with, somebody's getting paid, and somebody's getting paid well to do what it is that you've discovered. Create a lifestyle business around the things that you're passionate about. And then some people say, well, I don't know anything. Listen, if you've been in the Neville Goddard, Joseph Murphy, Joe Dispenza, Bob Proctor, Zig Ziglar communities for any length of time, and you've learned certain principles, you can teach on those and shortcut other people's learning curve in these principles. There's the things that we take for granted are often the things that open up the opportunity for our lifestyle change, for our income increase. I was talking to a coaching client recently, and she does real estate. She flips houses and so forth, and she loves it. But a couple of years ago, she ran into there was a bad business deal that went on, and in part, her name was blemished because of that. And she says, well, people still listen to me. I said, they absolutely will. I said, tell them about your story and about what you ran into. The reason why you're doing that, people want to know that you've been through something. For those creators that are perfect and have the perfect smile and everything is perfect, you really don't benefit anyone if you haven't gone through anything. And the truth of the matter is, if we're all honest, we've all gone through something, and we're going through something. Now, when we get on the camera, we don't have to air out everything that we're going through. But what you're going through is the keys to your kingdom. It's the pain point that other people are also going through. So when you begin to solve a pain point, when you begin to help other people overcome that pain point, that resolution, it may be something as shedding 10 pounds, that last stubborn 10 pounds of weight in the next 2 weeks, in the next 30 days, whatever that is, and showing them a painless way to overcome that last 15, 20 pounds of stubborn weight for that wedding that's coming up, for the summer that's coming up. Discover what your audience's pain point is and give them the solution, and then begin creating a course around it so that you can help them navigate to the life that they desire, to that resolution that they desire. When you begin doing that, you will find yourself in demand. And it goes back to what Zig Ziglar says, you can have everything in life you want if you just help other people get what they want. Let me go and give you a scripture that supports this. I don't know why I'm trying to line this thing up so perfectly. You guys are more interested in the information than me making this thing line up perfectly. But scripture says this: give, and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will be poured into your lap or into your life. And actually, the original translation said, will men, women, other people pour into your lives? With the measure that you use, it will be measured back to you. So whatever it is that you're giving, that's what you're going to receive. But let me go to the first portion of this. It says give. So if you're giving of your time and you're teaching people how to solve whatever this problem is, it's going to be given back to you. And that giving back to you can be by way of praise. It can be a way of money. It can be a way of people wanting to spend more time and say, okay, what else do you have to offer? Give, and it will be given to you, not solely at the level that you've given. We're talking about a seed. And the wonderful thing about seeds, when you plant a single seed in the ground, it always reproduces more seeds. There's no seed by its nature that you just sow a single seed in the ground and you get just a single seed of that harvest. it always comes 60, they say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100-fold, and often even more than that. The seed that Microsoft through Bill Gates sowed in the 80s we can't even begin to count the numbers that $25,000 investment has netted Bill Gates. Or looking at a Jeff Bezos and the concept of an online bookstore, we can't even imagine that initial seed that Jeff Bezos planted in his garage starting that online bookstore and looking at it today. And the truth of the matter is Amazon isn't done growing. Microsoft isn't done growing. These companies are still growing and seeing what services, products they can offer. What is it that you can give to your community, to your world, that they'll say, listen, I appreciate it, and we want to compensate you accordingly because of what it is that you're offering. Give, and it should be given to you. Good measure. It's not saying even an equal measure. It says in good measure, pressed down, and the picture is of a bag or a basket of grain. And in the times of Jesus, when he was talking about this, they would have these bags of grain, and the farmers would pour into the bag, but the way that you would get more into the bag of grain or the basket of grain was you had to shake it. And we do this, a lot of times I get an ice cream cone. You ever had that ice cream cone and you wanted the ice cream to be at the base of the ice cream cone as well as at the top? So I started tapping the bottom of the ice cream cone so the ice cream cone would start, funneling down to the base. What it did was made more room for more ice cream. Likewise with this concept of giving. It says give and it shall be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, running over. So now I got ice cream running over the cone and I'm enjoying this experience of this ice cream cone. I want to give you a modern picture of what we're talking about. Whatever it is that you give. Now, this works good, bad, or indifferent. So if you're giving out negativity, for example, then only thing you're going to get in good measure pressed down is more negativity. You have to change that mindset, creator, if that's not what you want to draw into your life. But let's talk about and keep it on service. Whatever service that you're offering, Wallace D. Waddle says, give that service with the mindset of increase to the person that you're giving your service to. Don't just try to make a quick buck and throw. I've seen creators throw stuff together and call it a program, and yeah, they may have sold the first couple of applications of that program, but the word's going to get out if you're sending out a shabby product. So make sure that you're giving out and servicing people with excellence, because that word's also going to get out and other people are going to come to you and they're going to seek what it is that you have to offer. So do what you do from a place of excellence. If you're not going to do it from a place of excellence, don't do it, creators. But he says, give and it shall be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will people pour into your possessions or into your lap. For with the measure, and this is why I say give it with excellence, because with the measure, if you're giving shoddy products, the word's going to get out and you're going to get those shoddy reviews and nobody's going to deal with you. Give whatever it is that you're giving from a place of excellence, from a place of service. And I like to say this, that we're all self-employed, no matter what it is that you're doing, even if you're working for somebody else, you're self-employed. We're all in the service industry. We all serve. Now, if you're not serving, you can't expect to get a return. It's only, and you can be in your mind all day and say, abundance comes to me easily and effortlessly. Dr. Milligan that said, I have a lavish study, dependable income, consistent with integrity and mutual benefit. He was talking about providing a service consistent with integrity and mutual benefit. So whatever it is that I have a study, lavish, dependable income, consistent with integrity and mutual benefit. Everybody's benefiting. How can we turn this into a win-win situation? Wallace D. Waddle says this, even though the ebook or the product that I may create for you. And he was talking about the science of getting rich at the time. He says, even though this book that I've created may only be worth at that time, nickels, pennies on a dollar, as it were, if the content in this book nets you hundreds, thousands, millions of dollars, then it's well worth the value that you pay for it. Creators, what can you offer, give your community from a place of excellence? Give that and watch the return. Many of us say that, I'm living a life of purposelessness. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Give, creators. Stop complaining and whining about what it is. Start finding a way to give back to your community. Start looking at people you can serve. And you say, well, I don't have anything. Like I said, for anybody that's looked at Neville Goddard for at least the last 6 months, you have tools that the world is unaware of that you can share and package in your own voice. You don't even have to call it Neville Goddard, for example. You can call it law of assumption, law of attraction, but teach people how these things work. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. Most people think that they're human beings having a spiritual experience when they go to church or whatever. When they begin to understand that they're creating from their spiritual essence, and you begin teaching them that, they're going to create a pathway to your door because they're going to want to know more. Most people, 90% of the world, don't understand who we are as spiritual beings. And they've been taught by religion that I'm only human and I'm doing the best I can and I'll wait on God to take me out of this world. They don't understand that they're creating their world creators. So if you're the person teaching them that they're constructing their world by their thoughts, their words, their actions, their feelings, their attitudes, their dispositions, and they begin to connect with that, and their lives begin to change because of what it is that you're teaching them from what it is that you've learned. Forget that there's 1,000 people out there teaching the same thing. They're not you. You have your own unique message, your own unique spin. And when you begin putting that out to the world, you're going to find your own unique audience. Give, and it shall be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. Will people, God uses the vehicle of people to bless. Will people pour into your bosom, your lap, your lifestyle? For whatever it is that you're giving, if you're not happy with the fruits of your life right now, creators, give something different, sow a different seed, and you're going to get a different result. Find out how you can serve with your story, your message today, and begin serving your local community. Start a Facebook group, start a YouTube channel, Instagram, TikTok. You say, well, I don't like social media. Creators, people don't know you exist till you start sharing your message. Once you start sharing your message, they're going to discover you, and whatever it is you have to offer, they're going to be more open. But people only deal with people that they know, like, and trust. If you don't have a relationship, don't try to hard sell people and say, all of a sudden, I got something. They don't know you. They're not going to buy from you. But when you begin to create community, sharing your message and transforming the lives of others, whatever it is that you want to do, be, or have is on the other side of that decision. You could have everything in life you want if you just help other people get what they want. Discover what it is that your community wants. Find a pain point, solve a problem. Begin initially giving some of the steps of that problem away. Pull in your community and to begin giving them what it is that they want, but you do it by what it is that they need. So you give them what it is that they want, but also give them what they need. And as you begin doing that, not only will you transform their lives, you'll begin to transform your own simply by giving. If you're interested, you can reach out to me at coachdecarlo1@gmail.com. But listen, remember this, creators, and I say this in most of my talks, so I want to close with this. Only you can create your perfect world, not God or man. Only you can create your perfect world. This is Coach DeCarlo saying have a great and abundant day.